Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Chris Okiishi, who is one of three playwrights and directors who is involved in the upcoming City Circle Theater Company production of, well, it's called Acting Out While Staying In, and it's three separate shows, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But first off, Chris, thanks for being here with me.
Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. We were just talking about how much I used to enjoy driving up to seeing you, and the Zoom makes it even easier and faster. That's great. Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, tell me, as we look toward perhaps getting to some semblance of normalcy as the spring and summer wear on, how are you and Patrick dealing with the continuing pandemic precautions?
Well, so that's what's been kind of neat about putting this show together. We rehearsed our version of it, and I think the other people did too, almost completely on Zoom, with people using part of their living room as a rehearsal space, and each of us having different blocks. And that was less of a challenge than expected, although it's hard to do blocking over Zoom, it turns out. But, safety first. But we got lucky in that our entire cast and I all managed to get vaccines in time, that by the time we needed to rehearse in person, we were past the 2-week mark and in a safe place, which was
excellent,
really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So where did now is this, have you already shot this? I know it's going to be recorded. You've already shot it, and it'll be broadcast over the web, and I know that the Coralville cable is doing it too. So where did you record?
We recorded at the Coralville Center for the Performing Arts, right
on stage.
Okay. Yep, right on the stage. And they set up all the cameras literally in the most optimal seats in the house. And so it's the best 3 seats you could imagine, and that's where the cameras were. And the one middle shot and 2 side shots. And then they had just one set that they built on the Coralville stage, and all of the authors and directors knew ahead of time that it was going to be one set that we would have to tailor to the plays. So all 3 of the plays were written for this particular experience and this particular set.
And they all have kind of a quarantine theme along with them. One is called Working for a Laugh. Janet Schlapkohl, who's been on the show many times, and Paul Story wrote that. And that takes place, it's a one-person show about a guy who is trapped in his own apartment, like so many of us have been. And then Brian Tanner's play, And Quarantine Makes Three. And yours, you win the award, Chris, for most provocative title of the 3 shows that are going to be performed, Scandinavian Death Cleaning.
Yes, Scandinavian Death Cleaning.
I just go ahead.
The heartwarming story of a family cleaning. Yes.
I just only wish that you could have found some quality talent to do this for you, though. It's just so hard in the corridor. We just can't find actors, because your cast is Ron Clark and Jody Hovland, who of course founded Riverside Theatre, and your husband, Patrick Dulaney, who is on hiatus from his Broadway career. So boy, it's just too bad you couldn't have found anybody good to work with.
Well, we sometimes have to make these struggles here in the hinterlands. So no, it was an honor beyond expectation that we would get, I think 3 of the finest actors in our area. And certainly and that's the other thing, Dennis, is the corridor is so rich with talent that there are many people out there. I'm just really privileged to work with these 3 people that, in addition to being excellent artists, are also wonderful humans, and that's been a great experience.
So what's easier to direct? Because you wrote the piece and you also directed it.
Yes.
So you got a lot of stuff going on. You're directing your husband. You're directing Ron and Jody, who have forgotten more about theater than I will ever know. Is it you in this room combined, you got about 150 years of acting and directing experience. How do you approach that?
Well, and I'm the least qualified person in the room. And I went to medical school, so that's the whole. So this is an area where my expertise is certainly hopefully helpful to their process. But it's the wonderful thing I think about people who know what they're doing is that they're not defensive about it. They're really flexible and really generous and talented and thoughtful and prepared. And so that made my job easier. And I knew what I wanted. I fortunately was given this opportunity and had an idea that was very clear to me. So they were instrumental in bringing the vision forward and asked all the right kind of questions to help clarify. But I really did know what I wanted ultimately out of this play, and we were able, as a team, to put it together.
With that in mind, give me the summary of Scandinavian Death Cleaning.
So there is a bit of mystery to the play. It's not a mystery, but things get revealed on a schedule over the course of the play, and so I don't want to give too much away, other than to say it is a play loosely based on my family, and Ron and Jody are playing characters loosely based on my parents, and Patrick is playing a character based very much on me and my brother John. And it is an imagination about what it means to have things in your life, especially as you are advancing in age, and as so many of us are in the pandemic, looking around at all the things around us and what means something to us that may or may not mean something to someone else. And what are we going to do about that?
Scandinavian Death Cleaning is one of 3 one-act plays that are a part of Acting Out While Staying In. It's a virtual production streaming on demand the weekend of April 9th, so April 9th through 11th. So you can watch anytime in that span, but you only have those 3 days to grab it.
Right, and there has been some little bit of confusion in that once you start watching, you have 48 hours to watch, or until midnight on that Sunday. So that is slightly confusing. So all of the streaming turns off at midnight on the 11th. But if you were to start on Friday, you'd have 48 hours to watch the play once you get going. It's all explained when you get going. And I do think, once you get started, the wonderful thing about streaming plays is you can pause them and run to the restroom or get snacks. But once you get going, I think you'll want to finish. But you can choose to watch them 1 and then take a break, and 2 and then take a break. But all of them are relatively short, shorter than most Netflix episodes. And heaven knows we've all learned how to binge those suckers. So this is local bingeable playwriting.
Have you seen the other 2 plays at all?
So I've seen little bits of rehearsals and I've listened to a lot, but we maintained pretty good COVID protections, so we were pretty distant from each other as we were working together, which is a tribute to City Circle and the Coralville Center for the Performing Arts for scheduling us in such ways as that we didn't have any overlap risk.
The cameras are in the 3 best seats in the entire auditorium, so you've got a great view of these 3 plays: Working for a Laugh by Paul Story and Janet Schlapkohl, and Quarantine Makes 3 by Brian Tanner, and Scandinavian Death Cleaning by Chris Okiishi. It's Acting Out While Staying In, April 9th through the 11th. Tickets are affordable. All of them are under $20, and you can visit the Coralville Center for the Performing Arts box office at coralvillearts.org for more information, or the City Circle website also has some details. And that website, Chris, is
citycircle.org.
Chris, thanks for being with me today. And I would say, as I often say during these things, I would say good luck or break a leg, but you've already done the part.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about this. It's already in the can. So
I'm just going to say enjoy.
Thank you, Dennis. It's a pleasure.
Thanks a lot for being with me today. Again, it's coralvillearts.org or citycircle.org for more information or tickets for Acting Out While Staying In. You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most Thursdays and Fridays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.